everyone, buckle up for 3 spine-chilling true stories of school lockdowns that will make you question every substitute teacher and hallway shadow based on real events. Let's dive into the terror right now. 3 pupils from Westlake High had disappeared mysteriously over the last month. Law enforcement was combing the region. Certain people said they'd been noticed at the deserted shopping center on Route 16. Others mentioned a dubious vehicle lurking around the areas close to the school. Our guardians started transporting us to classes. Educators monitored corridors on recesses, and the educational authority launched lockdown practices twice weekly, simply as a precaution. The initial thing that caught my attention wasn't his appearance, it was the odor, like metal mixed with harsh substances, similar to pennies dipped in disinfectant. Our standard history instructor had been missing due to sickness for 3 days. This replacement, Mr. Rowan, behaved unlike typical educators. While marking the whiteboard, his cuff shifted upward, exposing a mark that hasty cleaning failed to eliminate completely. I was attempting to figure it out when the alert for lockdown sounded sharply. The room went still. This differed from the routine monthly rehearsal tone. It was a piercing, rhythmic scream we'd encountered only once. A mark of genuine peril. "Fast, beneath your tables," Mr. Rowan stated with eerie composure. He displayed zero sign of astonishment. While we rushed to conceal ourselves, I glimpsed outside the glass, patrol vehicles quietly entering the lot, cops sheltering behind cars, firearms prepared. My pulse raced furiously. My uncle works in law enforcement. Those stances weren't for exercises. Mr. Rowan disregarded procedures. He omitted verifying the latch or dimming the illumination. Rather, he drew the shades gradually, observing the authorities via a slim opening. Something altered in his expression. Eyes tightened, lip edge jerked. That's how I figured they came for him. I extended toward my device, but his digits squeezed my arm with strength not resembling an instructor's caution. "No devices, Hannah," he murmured, causing chills on my flesh. "You're an obedient child, right?" No attendance had occurred. From his pouch he drew a hunting blade, not a tiny collapsible tool, but a jagged edge, roughly 6 inches in length, the type hunters employ to eviscerate prey. Overhead lamps reflected on its side as he rotated it deliberately. "Surrender your devices immediately." Tyler met my gaze from below his table. His expression showed the identical bold resolve I'd witnessed when he fractured his limb leaping from Miller's Cliff the prior summer. I nodded my head minimally. "Amusing aspect," Mr. Rowan remarked, gathering devices in a steel container. "Enter carrying a satchel, show a grin, and nobody verifies anything." He grinned slyly. "Claim you're from the regional administration and they provide a space packed with youngsters." A soft sob emerged from somewhere. He pivoted to the noise, nostrils widening. "Silence," he barked, abandoning every facade of regularity. "Otherwise they'll discover something far more intriguing than the custodian." I stiffened. Mr. Keller, our maintenance worker, had vanished since Monday. Abrupt tapping on the entrance startled all. "Mr. Rowan," Miss Riley's alarmed tone rang out. With one quick action, he seized me, holding the blade to my neck as he directed it threateningly toward the group. His look vowed, "Utter a noise and she's initial." Via the entrance's tiny pane, I saw merely Miss Riley's outline. She couldn't observe the interior events. "Evacuating the eastern section," she mentioned, tone subdued. "They discovered..." She hesitated. "Remain in position till law enforcement inspects your passage." What did they discover? My heartbeat roared in my hours. All accounted for, Mr. Rowan responded. As soon as she departed, my seat groaned. I had adjusted. His vision darted to me, irises expanded so his orbs appeared dark. You shifted, he uttered in a juvenile voice that froze my veins. During lockdown, movement is forbidden. He charged, grasping my locks and pulling upward. The blade touched my jaw, chilly metal against my throbbing vein. All to the barrier, he commanded. My peers stood up, quivering. You'll accompany me. He breathed near my ear, his exhalation warm and sour. Abruptly, Tyler leaped from rear a table, wielding a leg from a chair he'd detached. It hit the replacement's joint with a nauseating snap. He bellowed, swinging ferociously. The edge nicked Tyler's limb, crimson flowing from the cut, yet it offered me an opportunity. I thrust my arm into his side and escaped. Attack him, I cried, dashing to the instructor's station and pressing the crisis switch on the telephone. Room 207, I shouted into the handset. He's armed with a blade. He's no educator. The replacement's expression contorted in anger. Hobbling, he approached, weapon elevated. I've disemboweled individuals for minor offenses, he growled, charging toward me. Yet Tyler pounced on him from the rear. They tumbled onto tables amid turmoil of crimson, appendages, and fury. Additional pupils, conquering terror, hurled texts and seats, whatever to hinder him. The entrance exploded inward. Two lawmen charged inside, arms aimed, yelling directives that merged in my rush-filled thoughts. They subdued the replacement, restrained him, and lifted him. While passing, he rotated, his visage close to mine, and grinned, a horrific, ominous grin resembling a mortality facade. You disappointed me, Hannah, he murmured, audible solely to me. I recognize your seat. I recognize your terror's scent. They pushed him ahead, but he peered rearward, lipping, until next time. Subsequently, we uncovered the facts. Samuel Catch was sought in 3 states for offenses toward youngsters. 2 days prior, he'd fled a high-security mental facility, abandoning 3 attendants with slashed necks. The identical manner they located Mr. Keller, crammed past the furnace in the eastern section's lower level. The authentic replacement was located in his vehicle's rear compartment 3 miles from the institution. During evenings, I occasionally detect the snap of a collapsible blade. I've switched institutions, yet I inspect the sleeves of each replacement whenever an instructor is gone. That was a typical Friday. Mr. Carter monotoned regarding quadratic formulas as I messaged Liam concerning plans for the weekend. Just 2 additional sessions until Liberty. Nobody anticipated issues. Ryan had always seemed peculiar, quiet, hiding in nooks, gazing excessively, merely another oddball in our institution. Folks ridiculed him, but I attempted kindness, grinning in passages until Liam noted he emitted eerie feelings. Thus I ceased glancing his way, and he dissolved into obscurity. Until that moment, the speaker buzzed. Alert, lockdown, not a rehearsal. Head to secure areas right away. Initially, nobody stirred. Then I observed Ryan sprint beyond our entrance, gripping a large blade, crimson trickling from his palm. The edge shimmered beneath the fluorescent glow, but his orbs, Lord, his orbs were vacant, dark abysses absorbing illumination. His grin triggered goose flesh. Somebody yelled. Mr. Carter dashed to the entrance. "It's jammed!" he exclaimed, frantic. Bang! Ryan collided with the entrance, chuckling, a shrill, youthful titter that mismatched the crimson smeared across his visage. "Unlock it," he chanted, akin to a distorted children's rhyme, "or I'll crush your lovely small skulls." Liam Liam seized my limb. "Noah, let's go," he shouted, pulling a weighty table to the entrance. We supported it on the casing exactly as Ryan's blade glided via the crevice, almost scraping my orb. "I detect your dread, Noah, darling." He inhaled through the fissure. "It's exquisite." His reddened orb pushed against the entrance's pane, unwavering. "I've rehearsed for this, Noah." Others lacked sufficient cries. "You shall." His tongue darted, lapping crimson from his mouth, inducing shivers in me. Abruptly, yells resounded in the passage. Educators and guards hurried forward, diverting him briefly. Ryan retreated, inclining his skull like an inquisitive creature. "Conceal and pursue," he murmured. "Prepared or otherwise," Liam whispered sharply, and we shifted the table aside and fled. The passage was a horror. Water jets drenched the ground with rosy fluid, rendering it slippery. Crimson palm marks smeared a barrier where an individual had dragged. Two newcomers cowered near cabinets, pressing injuries. He sliced us and merely observed. One wept, claimed he adored our agony. Midway along the corridor, I spotted Ryan immobile at the distant tip. Blade lifted, skull tilted oddly. He discarded his sweatshirt, exposing a harness laden with cables and swollen bundles. "Cease fleeing," he shouted, his tone reverberating, then gentling, nearly affectionate. "I must peer within you, Noah." We dashed. Liam skidded, colliding with cabinets. Prior to aiding, Ryan appeared, advancing alarmingly swift, his blade gleaming. His soul scarcely contacted the surface. I tore a flame suppressor from the barrier and struck, impacting his arm. He remained unmoved, merely beamed broader. "That's amusing," he tittered, pupils widening. "Desire to experience true agony." He charged at Liam, who scarcely evaded. We arrived at the crisis outlet. Via the pane, crimson and azure flashes appeared. Assistance was close. Liam faced me, ashen from fright. "You first," he uttered, tone quaking. "No, jointly," I replied, clutching his arm. He denied with his head. "Avoid delay." "Depart." I advanced through the entrance, chilly breeze striking my chest. I pivoted, extending for Liam, our digits connecting. Then I perceived Ryan rear him, emerging like a specter. His gaze fixed mine as he thrust. "No!" I shrieked. The edge penetrated Liam's rear. His orbs expanded, lips parting in mute inhalation. Ryan's visage brightened with delight, orbs shifting mildly as he rotated the blade. His tongue protruded, sampling the atmosphere like a serpent. "Splendid," he exhaled as though beholding something sacred. Lawmen rushed our way, but Ryan persisted. The edge gleamed anew, embedding into Liam's flank with a moist noise. I refused to release his palm. "Endure, don't release," I implored. Crimson foamed from Liam's lips, yet he achieved a grin. "Exist, buddy," he breathed, his digits loosening from mine, and he released. I wailed as his form slumped on the pavement. Lawmen subdued Ryan, who offered no opposition, merely gazed at me above their arms with that uncanny grin. "I'll encounter you in your visions, Noah," he stated, his tone traveling amid the disorder. Later hours, I rested on the edge outside the institution, enveloped in a trauma cover. Liam's crimson was cleansed from my palms, but I sensed its adhesiveness amid my digits. Medics failed to rescue him. He departed prior to the rescue vehicle's panels shut. At daybreak, I gazed at his stained badge, striving to cling to his grin, not Ryan's phrases. During evenings, I sense Liam's palm escaping mine. I awaken, grasping void, attempting firmer hold, but fail. In some youth correction facility, Ryan lingers. Wardens report he avoids slumber, merely remains static, gazing at barriers, grinning. In the gloomiest times, I detect his stare distances. In my visions, he murmurs he's approaching me, that he'll conclude what commenced, that he requires peering within me. I was sipping my second mug of coffee when the call arrived. It was Mrs. Gallagher, my child's classroom educator, weeping. She indicated the institution was under lockdown. A teenager had infiltrated with a firearm. My cup escaped my grasp, fragmenting on the cooking area's floor. I seized my keys and dashed outward, contacting emergency. Road regulations vanished, my thoughts focused on Bloom, my offspring, my soul kid. She represented everything remaining of my spouse Claire, who departed 5 years prior. I'd nurtured Bloom singly, protecting her from all. Now she resided in an institution with a weapon-bearing youth. The institution was disorder. Patrol wagons, medical transports, and fire engines obstructed the path, their blinking illuminations projecting intense scarlet and sapphire lines on the road. Lawmen in combat attire shouted directives into communicators. Guardians thronged the obstacles, summoning their offspring. I forced through, panting. "Derek, retreat," stated Officer Brady, my adjacent resident. I grasped his cuff, my tone raspy. "My offspring's inside. She suffers asthma. She might choke. Permit entry." He denied with his head. "We manage this. Remain distant." "You fail to comprehend," I whispered harshly. "If she freaks, it's over. She requires me." Brady's expression remained firm. "We'll extract her. Allow our operation." I remained, hands balled, shaking with powerless anger. Guardians' wails echoed in my hearing, but I couldn't linger as Bloom faced peril. I withdrew from the group and sneaked to the structure's rear. The delivery platform was vacant. No lawmen, no obstacles. I noticed a marginally ajar pane, broad sufficient to slip through. I hesitated not. I elevated the casing, ascended the ledge, and fell inward. My palms stung from the descent, but I ignored. I was within. The corridor was shadowy, crisis lamps projecting a weak crimson shine. Alarms howled distantly, muted by dense quiet. I progressed beside the barrier, inhaling rapidly and shallowly. Every pace resounded in my hearing. An unexpected blast numbed me. Along the corridor, panes fragmented, shards cascading on the flooring. My limbs halted briefly, but I accelerated to Bloom's room. I recalled its location, left bend, room 214. I observed her via the pane, huddled beneath a table with 4 additional children. Her digits clutched her breather, but she gasped, incapable of utilizing it. Her mouth was colorless, her torso rising in brief inhalations. I disregarded danger. I swung the entrance wide. "Bloom!" I knelt beside her. Her orbs enlarged with awareness, but she lacked voice. She struggled with the breather. "Inhale, darling," I uttered, tone unsteady. As we rehearsed, gradually her palms quivered excessively. I grasped her tiny palms and directed the breather to her mouth. Profound inhalation. Retain. Number 2-3. Excellent child, rear me. A youth, approximately 10, pulled my cuff, murmuring, "He's approaching." I stiffened. Strides, weighty, intentional. A shade extended over the barrier. Then he materialized. A youth, perhaps 17, visage marked with pimples, orbs empty. He grasped a scattergun, his look darting to the entrance. He hadn't perceived me yet. "Act, Derek." I pushed Bloom to the barrier, covering her. He discharged. The overhead illuminations fragmented, shards detonating. The children yelled, weeping beneath tables. Bloom adhered to me, claws embedding in my flesh. I refrained from pondering. I seized a seat and flung it toward him. The supports collided with his torso, and he faltered, the scattergun dropping from his grasp. "Flee!" I bellowed. The children rushed, grasping one another, sobbing while a escaping along the corridor. Bloom's limbs scarcely supported her, her inhalations brief, but she progressed. "Proceed, darling. Continue," I shouted. The assailant regained balance and rushed, smashing me into the barrier. My skull struck the coating, sight hazy, his knuckles soared. I savored crimson, my torso aching. My digits located something chilly amid the conflict. The scattergun. I clenched it and struck with full force. Osseous snapped, crimson splattered. He slumped on the flooring, moaning. I rose unsteadily, torso aflame, joints weakening. While staggering outward, I viewed Bloom in Brady's embrace, weeping, her visage concealed in his torso. "Bloom," I summoned, tone fracturing. She elevated her gaze, broke loose, and dashed to me, limbs extended. I embraced her so firmly I dreaded injury. Her weeping saturated my garment. I pressed lips to her brow repeatedly, suppressing sobs. "I'm present, darling. You're secure." She lived. She was secure, and I too. And that's it for today's terrifying tales. If you enjoyed these stories, hit that like button, subscribe for more creepy content, and drop a comment below with your own school horror experiences. See you in the next video.